Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, come to you from the green, warm, very warm hills of Tennessee. Tennessee, the home of Jack Daniels, who makes it even warmer, right? Has made it even warmer for a long time, a lot of decades. Yeah, you recognize what we've got here. Good old 1911. This is my hippie gun. Those who have been around know what I mean by that. I'll probably explain again, though, right? So glad you're out here and you're braving the ticks along with me. The heat, yeah, really glad you are. You're not afraid of this humidity and heat because, we usually survive it, right? Uh, I don't let it keep me in the house. In fact, I try to about every day go walking. Maybe when I go to the post office, I go to a track or to over by the river. There's a neat place, kind of where I live. Just walk, just walk. Even though I'm around doing things, there's nothing like I have learned just kind of stretching out and walking, not speed walking, but just stretching out on a surface you don't have to watch for the walnuts or limbs or anything. It just seems to be good for I don't know, what ails you or your I don't know, your skeleton, just the way you motor around. I don't know, kind of stretching out, not having to think about any of that. I know a lot of people think they're really active in their, I don't know, on their feet all day or whatever, but you know, it's really different. I've noticed over the years, actually exercising, even just walking, is a lot different than just being on your feet or doing something. Maybe you work in a factory or you're doing something all day, not necessarily heavy lifting or a lot of walking, but you got a work area and you're doing a lot of things there. Well, that's better than sitting on the couch, right? But I don't know, there's something much better, I think, if you just take off walking for, I don't know, half a mile, 2 miles, whatever, feel good with. I don't judge it by that. I measure it by time, more or less. And so, okay, I want to walk at least 15, 20 minutes, maybe 35 or 40 minutes one day. I just feel better when I do that. Sure. And again, it does get your heart beating a little bit faster, even just walking. You do it for a period of time, and you're just sort of stretching out those muscles. And I don't mean ambling, and I don't mean speed walking. Just walking. So anyway, I think it's good. How to get? Oh yeah, I was the other day. I was coming back from Nashville, and it was the middle of the day, and I stopped at the post office, and I didn't walk today. I'm gonna go to the track. Of course, the sun's beating down. It's like 90 some degrees and humid, and nobody's out there walking on the track or anything. And I don't know. I've always been that way. I've always just okay. Never let the weather, other than like extremely cold weather, deter me from whatever it is I'm doing. I just used to play basketball. I know when I was in high school and college, go out, we're going to pick up or go work on my shot, whatever it is. I'm not going to wait for the sun to go down necessarily. I've got maybe something else or whatever. And I'd be out in just the middle of the day in the sun and whatever, just always done that. We used to work in the tobacco patch. I was involved when we lived on a farm raising tobacco like every day for many years. And, that's kind of what it was there. Tobacco needs weeding, hoeing, and you get out there and you're out there all day in the sun. You don't wait for the shade. Some people probably did. I never did. We never did. Anyway, I don't know what all that was about. Didn't even know I was going to talk about all that. Good old 230 grain ammo. Yeah, this is the Hippie Gun. Oh, before I get into that, though, I want to remind you early on, in case some of you tune out early, don't forget, still have a couple of meet and greets. Sevierville, Tennessee, at the Buds Gun Shop there on September the 2nd. Okay, September 2nd, coming up. Yeah, like next weekend. We're looking today at the 27th, so this coming Saturday. Yep. Be at Bud's there at 11 o'clock. Okay, so be sure you're there. I'll look forward to seeing you. And then in Greenville, Kentucky at Uncle Lee's on the 23rd of September, same time, 11 o'clock. So put that on your calendar. Especially if you live in California or Norway, I hear from a lot of you around the world, Thailand, India, gosh, Germany, hear from you, of course the UK, and all over the country, all over the globe. So the further you are away, the more you need to plan ahead in order to be there, right? So, yeah, I'll see you there. And my good old friends Ballistol and Talon grips. Oh, it's sacrilege. I'm sacrilegious. I don't have Talon grips on 1911. That's the one firearm. I guess I think I have actually put some on 1 or 2, but I typically don't do it on 1911s. I think they offer them. They make them for 1911s. I've had some, and I've got some that are a couple that are slippery that would really benefit if I was going into competition for sure. I've gotten to where so many of my 1911s are just something special. They're historical. They're military USGI 1911s, and I just want them to be like this one, 1969. So I call it the Hippie 1911 Hippie Gun. Just the wooden Colt medallion grips. I kind of like that. If I was going competing with it, well, I wouldn't take this one necessarily, but some wraparound grips would be great. That way you get your sandpaper. That's what I would want. If I was going competing, I'd want some good old grit Talon grips around all the way around that thing. It'd be just like having checkering and lock into that thing. So like my a couple of custom ones I have. Okay. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I picked this one up at the Tennessee Military Collectors Association show in Franklin, Tennessee 2-3 years ago from a viewer and his father, and he was trying to trade it or sell it or wanted something else. So I was glad to find it because it's a commercial model made in the 60s. I don't see as many of those. It's kind of like my series, my Series 70. This is a pre-Series 70. I wonder why, because it's made in the 60s. But it's essentially the same. Reminds me of my old Series 70, which was my first 1911. And one of these days I'll find one. I don't have the line out, fishing line out for another 1911 really. I would be tempted if I ever ran across one that was made in 1950. Many of you know why, probably, right? That would be cool if it weren't too crazy expensive. So yeah, nothing like a 1911. My gosh, John Browning. If only you knew, these things are still so popular with shooters. Oh boy, yeah. So I'm shooting this hardball here. I was going to bring some. I didn't bring any of the Underwood. I had some 230 grain, I think, from. Oh well, it's all right. What else? What's this huge thing again? You want to? I got a mix of magazines, but now none of these mags I think are overused, whatever that means. I think all the springs are still okay. That's really what that means, right? The magazine that came in this one, I did have a couple of malfunctions with it, and I don't know that I even have it out here. It was blue, and I think a Colt mag that came with it. So I don't know why, but I'm assuming the spring in that magazine is a little bit weak, perhaps. Okay, because I don't think I've had a malfunction, have I, with others? If you've seen the videos on this firearm, we've done 1 or 2. Okay, this is just the old classic government model. It's not been souped up at all, as you can tell. That's just the way it came in '69, and that was really before as many people were, souping them up for competition, I guess, right? Yeah. I'm sure there were some doing it, but this is just the government model, A1. Yeah, pretty cool. I don't know how it works, how it even shoots, because you've got vertical serrations, which I love. Yeah, you see that? Yeah, the vertical serrations of the classic, Colt government model. So this is kind of the way the gun was designed to be, more or less. This is the A1 version. Came out, the few modifications from the original were made in, 1924? All right. I was in 3rd grade at that time, so I didn't remember it as well. Hey, I was impressed. I hit the gong. Because when I got over here, I looked at I had it in the holster. I said, did I ever paint that front sight? I was going to. No, I didn't. I kicked myself. I'm so bad about that, not getting those front sights painted. Because it would really help with this one. Really help. I made a few modifications, worked on the range a little bit, you notice? Yeah. Had some targets about to fall. Yeah, sweet. Sight's right on, good thing. It doesn't hurt though, just a touch of white on the front side of one of these, because they don't have a lot of sight to them. Really don't. Oh yeah. Hard to beat. Again, I put these in a category kind of a Colt single action, although you could carry this thing. I've got a cross draw holster, if you see it there. And can you see it? Can you see it? Yeah, now you can sort of see it, right? There we go. I've got the Alabama holster, see, flapjack they call it, which I like. I'm gonna get that out and put that on and maybe do a little draw. But I remember when I picked it up, it's for the Commander. This one doesn't fit as well, so I got one for the full size here at some point. And the Commanders, again, I'm more likely to carry, so I wanted it for that. And also, I don't know, if I have a beautiful 1911, I'm more likely to stick it in leather, maybe if it's kind of a collectible gun. I don't know. So, sweet. What was I going to talk about? I got 2 or 3 little bullet points, maybe. Again, don't forget about the meet and greets. Hope to see you there in Sevierville, Tennessee. All right, again, it's in a beautiful part of the state, and it's a great gun shop, and expect to see you there on the 2nd of September, coming right up. The Taylor's and Company 9mm, Outlaw. I mentioned that. I don't think I told you. I donated that to Butte County, police and rescue departments out, and that I remember everything about it. They have a fundraiser. It's where Paradise is, the big fire a couple of years ago, and they contacted me for a signed target again, and I just said, well, how about a gun? And so it's already there. Okay, it's already there. So I keep you all abreast of where the guns go that we donate. A couple are at the Tennessee Firearms Association banquet auction, which is coming right up as well, right, in a couple of weeks. Hope to see you there if you have tickets, and get a ticket if you don't. Oh yeah, and speaking of that, I had 2 different messages, I think, on Facebook, the public page. I happened to see, and again, I don't see all of them, but asked me if the Hickok giveaway page is legit. I said, must not be. I don't know anything about it. There's so much on the internet, scams and people using other people's usernames and then everything you can imagine. It's hard to know what's real and what's not, right? I don't have a giveaway page, and so I don't know what that's all about. And I answered one of them. I said, well, no, I don't know anything about it. And if it's, just think about it, use your common sense now. Most of you have a lot of common sense. No, wait a minute, you're watching me? Is that an indicator you have common sense? Probably not. Well, I think you have a lot of common sense if you're watching Sunday videos, because there's nothing exciting any day, much less Sunday. But if I had some kind of special program, page, or something like that, don't you think I'd be talking about it in videos, mentioning it, promoting it? I'd probably even, imagine this, have a link to it in every description. So, and everybody else would be the same way. So, again, I know I'm not talking to many of you really, but just keep that in mind. It's hard to promote everything or let everybody know everything. Everybody doesn't see every video anybody does and all that sort of thing. But it's simple enough to put links to anything going on, and every single description. So just be aware of that. It would be in a description, definitely. Here and Rumble. Everything is posted on Rumble. It seems like most of the videos are not monetized now. I don't know if other people are having that same issue. So we're posting everything on Rumble as well. So yeah, go there and look at things. YouTube doesn't matter really. We just want you to see what we're doing. How's that? So lots of perspiration today, and that's okay. I don't mind it a bit. It's a sign you're healthy if you are sweating, perspiring, right? So yeah, a couple of things there. The other thing I've been noticing, a lot of comments about the zombie movie. Isn't it funny? Strain 100, that John and I were in, and it's funny, just a lot of comments. I don't know what's brought that back up. Is it up the list, trending or something on Netflix or wherever it is? Netflix, Amazon.com. I don't know, or Amazon, but anyway, yeah. And so many people are totally surprised. We talked about that when we did it. But new people, a lot of new people, and they're randomly watching that movie. It's pretty funny. It is funny how things evolve. And someone who never has seen our videos, and say a couple of years ago they found us and started watching them, and they watch a lot of our videos. They feel like they know me and everything. And that movie's been out for 3-4 years, so they're randomly watching some zombie movie, on Netflix or wherever it is, and all of a sudden, about 3/4 of the way through it, or wherever it is, there I am shooting a zombie with the rifle they've seen in the videos. So it must be a little bit of a surprise, I guess. All right, knowing I'm not exactly the Hollywood type, how'd I get in a movie, right? So anyway, let's shoot something. Yeah, I really like this. Maybe this will be my carry gun. 1911. That's what I should do. I should start carrying one of these everywhere and promoting it as the only worthy carry gun. Kind of step into the shoes of Jeff Cooper and make everybody mad. Pick up the mantle of 1911 religion from him. Oh yeah, there's the Alabama holster. Let's shoot them. Yeah, great manufacturer of concealment holsters. Check them out. They shoot the SDI badge too. Oh man. Wideners. Let's punch them. And the gong. All right. Not sure where I went, so I'll sling another chunk of lead. Popped that time. All right, nice firearm. How about you, Piggy? And Mr. Cowboy? Yeah. No malfunctions yet. Not that I would expect it, but this one did. Like I say, it disappointed me. Soon after I brought it home from buying it, maybe in the first magazine or two, it hung up. But my experience since then has indicated it was a magazine issue, which it usually is with one of these. So good old 1911, made when I was a much younger human being. You ever think about that with your firearms? I do that sometimes if it's something made while I was alive. I think, okay, like whatever, I've got a couple of Colt single actions made in '64, and what else back there, yeah, got one made in '57, '56, whatever. And I think about, okay, what was I doing? Just think, well, I was like in middle school or in elementary school and third grade or whatever it was. Somebody in Hartford, Connecticut was finishing up this pistol, or my Colt single action was making that, and bluing it or nickeling it or whatever. I was just a dumb little 10-year-old or 6-year-old or 15-year-old going through all the crazy stuff that we all go through in school, dealing with that. The last thing on my mind at that time was what somebody in Connecticut or Springfield, Massachusetts was doing in terms of finishing up some fine revolver, or one of these or something. You had no notion at that time anything about these guns, probably hardly, or where they were made or anything like that. And then years later, though, it's such a big part of my awareness and consciousness, and I know the history and of everything. I know the history of them and appreciate it deeply and study it and enjoy the actual firearm, whatever it might be, and try to even share it like I really know it, And but that's kind of the way of the world, isn't it? We're all gradually becoming less ignorant than we were before. Really. We don't realize how ignorant we are, and that's what that phrase means. You don't know what you don't know, right? You've heard that till you're tired of hearing it maybe, but you don't know what you don't know. And you're not even aware where you are on the scale. You don't even know until you learn something. The little learning's a dangerous thing, and you get past that to where you actually know something, and it's way more interesting, isn't it? So kind of interesting the way it goes. We just don't realize how dumb we are, how ignorant. Ignorant's the word, right? Meaning we just don't know. We might be really smart. Einstein was very ignorant about a lot of things, right? Up until he got knowledgeable and educated, and he's still ignorant about some things, right? I don't know. Einstein, when he's 40 years old, could he have told you or me who invented the Colt 1911? Does he know the history of John Browning? I don't know. Maybe not. Could he name 5 different models of Smith & Wesson that were being made in 1890? No, he probably was ignorant of that, right? Doesn't make him dumb. It's an area he wasn't interested in, I guess. I don't know, unless someone tells me different. Maybe he had a vast gun collection. I don't know. Oh well, let's shoot it. I'm getting silly, huh? All right. 230 grain slugs. Oh yeah, I had mentioned it. Obviously, the biggest song on the planet right now is "The Rich Man North of Richmond, Virginia." Right? That's a pretty cool. I know most of you have heard it. You're all familiar with it and everything. And all I say is that the guy, what's his name, Oliver Anthony, seems pretty cool. Obviously the loony left. Doesn't mean you're left or loony because you're left of center, but there is a loony left, and there's a loony far right, I guess, too. But the loony left seems to be the loony bin that's trying to control everybody, right? These days. In the past, that has been the loony end of both ends of the scale. But they tried to paint him as some whacked out racist. That's just what they call everybody, right? But great song, isn't it? Great song. And seems like a great guy. Oliver Anthony, I think his real name is something else I've read, but his stage name is Oliver Anthony, so that's what we'll call him. But anyway, if you're a gun guy, Oliver, and you're watching, good work, good job. Yeah, or if you know him, pass that along, please. Great guy. I grew up with country music, the real country music. My dad and mom loved it, played it. My dad did banjo, guitar, and everything. And so I grew up with all that real country music. I grew up with Beatles and Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin. So I lived different lives, and I liked it all. But I really liked Johnny Cash. Tennessee Ernie Ford, Bill Monroe, all that stuff in my house, was played a lot. And Jim Reed, name it, you can name it. And Merle Haggard, you name. And anyway, and I've had a lot of conversations with people about music and everything. It is so different nowadays. The uh, the the people who sang country music back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, maybe 80s, they were all so distinct. Have you noticed that? Surely you know a little bit about country music. When you think about Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, Dolly Parton, Loretta Lynn, name of Jim Reeves, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, all those people are so distinctive, aren't they? A really distinctive voice. You could hear two bars of a song or one note real quick, and you could tell who that is, right? And but all this pop country, I sound like an old man, but this pop country, my gosh, they all sound alike. They're all cut from the same mold. It's commercial, right? Music, and it is refreshing when anybody comes along that's a little different. It really is. So Alan Jackson was kind of that way, wasn't he? And I had the pleasure of meeting him and knowing him a little bit. I taught his kids, his girls, where I taught all three of them, and so I had occasion to speak with him occasionally. But he's kind of a shy fellow, and when he's not on stage, and but anyway, kind of interesting. And my mom and dad loved him, and kind of introduced me to him when he came into the world, into the public, singing his songs. But anyway, nowadays there are some people who are not like that. John was showing me a guy, Colton Wall, and there's some others, that they're kind of getting back to the old style, which is pretty cool. That guy's got a voice and a half. He's definitely not cut from the modern mold. But anyway, a great song. I commend him on that fine piece of writing and singing. Whew. All right. Enough jabber. Let's sling some 230 grain pieces of lead and copper. How's that? I don't think the cowboy has been struck enough, do you? Am I recording? Yeah, I hope so. How about this 2-liter over here on the left? Yeah. That disrupted things, didn't it? Oh man, very funny. What else? How about young people? Yeah, just last thing I've got, just young people. Another reminder, I have to do this at least once a month, I think. A reminder about the media, that just the nature of media, of almost all media, really, virtually all media, okay? The first requirement is they've got to get your attention. Their first requirement and priority is not having the correct information, sensible information, common sense information, useful information. That's not their first priority. Their first priority is getting your attention. And that kind of goes for almost all media, whether it's the internet, corporate media, whatever it is. Newspaper, you might read those anymore. Even books, they've got to get your attention. And so if they can get your attention, my attention, get a click or get us to look at something even for a little bit, they've kind of accomplished a lot of their goal. So they don't have to offer a lot of substance, right? Yeah, that's kind of the way the world works, isn't it? And it's not just, look online, the clickbait and all that craziness and thumbnails, and it's just everybody's vying for attention, whatever, and a lot of it works. We should probably do it too. But one thing we don't think about sometimes, I think, is that we think that's kind of a media thing, an electronic thing. We don't think about it as much with books or magazines or things of that nature, and especially nonfiction books, whatever that might be. Well, again, remember, I always caution my students about this when we would start reading nonfiction or do something nonfiction, that just because it's classified as nonfiction doesn't mean it's all nonfiction. And that's where you really have to watch. It takes a critical eye. If something is fiction, it's a romance novel, it's a Tom Clancy, whatever it is, Tom Clancy, or just some interesting story made up, a mystery, whatever it might be. Well, that's in some ways more harmless if it's not all correct. It's fiction. We know it. It's a story. It's made up. It could be science fiction, whatever. Okay? You're not expecting truth out of that, right? But now, if I pick up a book and it's about the early days of the Vietnam War, or presidential decisions leading to the Vietnam War, or the war with Iraq, or whatever it might be, or just a biography of some historical figure, a president, or a governor, or a frontiersman, a cowboy, whatever, whoever, a famous lawman. When I go into that book, that story, documentary, article, dime novel, well, not dime novels maybe, but we're kind of expecting truth, fact. It is nonfiction, after all, isn't it? Well, probably not. Usually it's what? It's a mixture. Some fact and some stretching of the facts and fiction. Maybe a lot of fiction. Maybe most of it's fiction. Maybe 90% of it is. How do you know? Because human nature has not changed. It's been the same. Go back in the 1850 or 1860 or 70s. If someone's thinking about it, if I'm a dime novelist, those are like the short pamphlets or magazines, about whatever, but I'm a writer, and I want to write something about Wyatt Earp or Hickok or Jesse James, and what's my goal? Same thing, get published, a story. Even if I go interview them and get it right from the horse's mouth, my main goal is to get that published, make that money, get it published in Harper's Weekly or wherever, or Dime Novels, some separate, and make money, get attention, become a famous writer. What's going to do that for me? Well, let me make whoever, Wyatt Earp, seem more glamorous than he was, or Doc Holliday. Instead of having killed whatever it was, 8 men or something, we got to boost that up to about 25, and have some crazy stories, whether with Wes Hardin or whoever it might be. I can become famous, a famous writer. I can become published. I can make a living out of doing this. It's just going to take some exaggeration. All right. So again, I'm just not to be pessimistic, but I'm giving you a reminder of human nature. All right. So again, this to young people. Be aware, anybody that's trying to get your attention, including me, there might be an agenda, there's a motivational factor there that could be warping everything you hear or a lot of the information you're getting. Now, I don't think you're getting much of that from us. We don't try hard enough. We don't even use the clickbait, but we are using knowledge and information, experience to lure you into our videos. Okay, see you shoot it. We want to offer real guns, letting you see how they work and shoot and how they operate, our opinions of them based on our experience and that kind of thing. We hope that's enough. It kind of has been, right? So we don't really get into the other area. Now maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we're just a bunch of clickbaiters too, John and I am. But just be aware. You're living in a world of clickbait. Now I use that term loosely. I mean everything. Even the people in 1870. Again, it's always been a clickbait world. They didn't have the click. They didn't have the laptop or the phone. But if you're walking by a newsstand or a general store or wherever, and you see a Harper's Weekly or you see some dime novels, you're going to be more likely to put down your dime and buy one of those if there's a title on the front of that thing and an illustration of, I don't know, Doc Holliday he's pulled out his gun and he's shooting 3 guys, and then there's an article of all these crazy things he supposedly has done, and it's written in a really highly interesting, exaggerated fashion. You're just gonna love it, right? Especially if you're young and not old enough to realize the motivation and what I just talked about. Okay, that's my lesson. Sorry. Okay, had to ruin all the good stuff, right? All right, let's shoot something else here. Like, I'm gonna try to hit that old pig right in the head. I think I got him close to the head. I'm gonna hit the gong in the round part. All right, gotta get it up, gotta get it up. Yeah, what a sweetie, I tell you. Nothing like a 1911. They are fun to shoot. Many of you have discovered that. You have one, you don't carry it necessarily, and you don't pay attention to goofballs on the internet like me, who, not that I do that, but who act like this is the worst gun ever made because it's heavy, it's antique, it's an old design. You don't let that get to you. You don't let that bother you. Yeah. As I've said before, what guns would you own? Once you get if you're allowed to carry where you live in this country or anywhere else, once you get your ideal carry gun, and you got a shotgun for hunting, maybe self-defense shotgun, 20, you got your 5 or 6 guns that are your most essential for the things you do that have a utilitarian purpose, okay? Once you get past that, think about it. Every other gun you own is just because you like that gun. You enjoy shooting that firearm, for the most part. That's, so, because it's historical, because it's a classic, Just think of my Colt single actions and those firearms and old bolt action, military rifles and things. I could hunt with them if I was a hunter, but a lot of people who have them and who hunt, they don't hunt with them. They have a modern bolt gun or something. It's just because they're so cool. They are fun to shoot. Yeah, that's most of shooting, right? Most by far. And then just the ownership of a firearm. It's like any other kind of collectible. A coin, what purpose does a silver dollar have? When you need to go spend it? No, it's just the cool factor of it, the historical factor of it, right? It's made of silver. It's dated 1923 or something, okay, or 1880. That's the cool, and it was minted in Carson City, Nevada, or something. That's what makes those cool. You're not going to spend it. You can't do anything, with it. But it's just cool, historical, And at least with these things, you can take them out and do what I'm doing today, can't you? You can enjoy it and still admire it for what it is. That design, when you look at that, you can't help but admire and appreciate the genius of John Browning even more, right? Think about the history of it and how you developed that, the early 1900s, and the cartridge, the 45, and and then how this evolved, this A1, from the original 1911. They're about the same, but just the changes, and you see all that history in it. And then, what do? Well, you pick up a magazine full of this 230 grain ball ammo that it was designed around, and you shoot it, and you become a part of living history, right? Yes, you do. You go bowling. Uh-oh. Oh, okay now. What's that about? All right. Darndest thing, you got to hit them to knock them off. I don't know why they're so picky. They have to have a slug of lead smack into them before they react. You can come that close to them, they don't care. They don't care a bit. they just stand there. It's pretty amazing, huh? So, wow, I shot too much here. No malfunctions, I'm so pleased. Yep, just brought out one gun. I thought I would feature a piece of John Browning Genius today. Well, feature. I just wanted to shoot a piece of John Browning's Genius. I've had this one handy in the safe and pulled it out a couple of times and yeah, fondled it a little bit. Yeah, need to fire this thing. Need to fire it. I see somebody about to back into the driveway. Need to make sure it's someone I know. I'll be back in a second. I just want to look. Well, I think it's my wife, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me load up around, just in case. John Browning to the rescue, right? Actually, I'm about finished, so I was about to wrap it up. So I will jump into my four-wheeler and pop over there with guns a-blazing. No, I won't do that. I am smarter than that, believe it or not. I use good judgment, and most of the time, I really do. Yeah, I've talked about all the dumb things I was going to talk about, and well, I could start my car from over here. Maybe that was UPS guy. Okay. All right. I'm not paranoid. It's just that everybody's out to get me. Yeah. When the leaves are on, I can see somebody's in the driveway but it's hard to tell what it is from over here. So that's why you want to have a firearm with you. I remember my uncle that I got the firearms bug from. He was a collector and shooter. And he died on a tractor when I was about 15 or 16, but I always thought it was interesting. He had a place with, I don't know how many acres he had, but when he was out on the tractor or when he was around the place, he'd have a gun on his hip. This is back when people just didn't do that, but he was on his own property, so he could do it. There were no permits and all that sort of thing. This had been like the 50s, 60s, and I always thought that, I don't know, we were asking about that, and there had been a lot of break-ins in that area, and he had a transmission shop like in his barn, all this kind of thing. He could do anything, and so he had been broken in on a time or two, and so when he's back on the lower 40 of the tractor or whatever he's doing, when he came back to the house, he just wanted to make sure he was armed. Made sense to me. Guess what? Still makes sense to me. So not a bad idea. I don't know if I've ever gone out on the place here without a firearm, not because I'm paranoid again. It's just why not? Because you don't know what you'll encounter. You live out in the woods like I do. You want to be prepared. To quote, well, what Gus and many others, it's better to have it, not need it, than to need it and you got it, not have it, right? So anyway, appreciate you all hanging around and coming by today, withstanding the heat, ticks, and all that humidity. Yeah, says a lot for you. And I do skim through the comments on a Sunday. Like I say, I don't know why, but a lot of them get filtered out, so I have to go in and proof some. I don't understand that with YouTube. It could just be something like good morning or whatever. And it's crazy. So if you ever leave a comment and don't see it, that's what's happening. It's not that I deleted it. That some just get filtered for whatever reason. Maybe YouTube, Google knows you. They know what you're thinking, right? You're thinking evil thoughts about firearms. I don't know. But I do see a lot of your comments, and I really appreciate the support on Sunday, and a lot of you tune in and your true firearms aficionados, your real true friends of the channel. It's obvious, and really appreciate you, really do. That's why on Sundays I feel more at home than ever, talking to you all, the camera, that sort of thing. Of course, someone comes in, does not realize what the Sunday videos are about, are like perplexed a bit perhaps, but anyway, that's okay. Life can be perplexing. People need to be perplexed at times, don't you think, at times? So I really appreciate you coming by, and remember, we post 3-4 videos every single week. They're not being recommended. I know even to people subscribing, I hear over and over and over the same story. I do link them on the Facebook, Hickok 45 Facebook page. Just about every video, I post them on Gun Streamer as well, and they go up on Rumble very soon after they're posted on YouTube. So they're Rumble and YouTube, on Facebook, a link on Facebook, and then on Gun Streamer. Now the links don't go with everybody on Facebook. Social media is such a scam in so many ways, isn't it? It doesn't matter how many followers you have. It doesn't really help to have 500,000 followers on Facebook, because whatever you post doesn't go out to them. So you really don't have 500,000 followers. You have whatever Facebook decides you have, right? So, but anyway, be that as it may, we are stuck with the social media that we have, and we all just have to do the best we can. But again, the channel is, guess what? The name of the channel is Hickok 45, and they may not be recommended to you or suggested. You may not get notified, but they're still there and viewable. So keep that in mind. And again, y'all are the special group. You are you might just be the weird group. The weirdest group watching on Sunday, right? So appreciate it, and I'm sure I'll see some of you Saturday at Bud's in Sevierville. So come on out. I'll say hi to you. It's scheduled 11 to 12, as I said, but it's just like in Lexington. Until everybody's come through, I'll be there. So I'll see you Saturday. Remember, I don't want to hear any lame excuses about where you live just because you're in Idaho, or you're in I don't know, you live in London, you live in Australia. There's airplanes leaving every day. I expect to see you Saturday. So take care. Life is good.